In the previous segment, we discussed a standard trigger group, its operation and components. Some of the aftermarket triggers that we'll discuss in this segment share similar types of parts. The differences between standard and the aftermarket triggers are in their tolerances, the amount of travel before sear release, geometry, and the strength or type of their springs. Other factors like trigger spring position, type, and strength also reduce the felt trigger pull weight. It's important to point out, however, that these non-standard triggers may have additional adjustments, special parts, or function differently, so it's important that you read all directions supplied by the manufacturer and understand them completely. An aftermarket trigger group can improve the performance of the operator and the rifle interface, which in turn improves accuracy. The standard trigger is fine for combat, but varmint hunters and competitive shooters looking to gain an edge in performance will often opt for installing an aftermarket trigger. Some of these aftermarket triggers are adjustable. They allow the shooter to fine-tune various aspects of the trigger, like the amount of travel before or after the trigger disengages, for a quicker response to trigger pressure input from the operator. Other options for improving the trigger pull include low-mass hammers and installing lighter-weight springs, which reduce the trigger pull weight. One of the easiest methods of getting a match-grade trigger for your AR is to use a drop-in trigger module. These systems have the trigger, hammer, and springs already pre-assembled in one unit, so all you have to do is drop it into the lower receiver, insert the retention pins, and attach E-clips. It's that easy. These trigger groups are already adjusted at the factory, require no gunsmithing to fit, and there are no issues with the engagement of the safety selector. There are typically two pin sizes available for these systems, a 154 thousandths and 171 thousandths pin. You should always test the function of your triggers after you install them. We'll discuss the proper methods for testing your trigger in the function testing segment.